How's it going? Thank you for logging on. This is Anthony. All right. Today we're going to go over Genesis chapter 6. All right. The wickedness and judgment of man. So we're getting close to Noah. All right. Now, in the previous chapter, chapter 5, we went over family of Adam. All right. The genealogy of Adam. And we even go all the way from Adam all the way to Noah. And then we head to chapter 6. All right, so we're gonna start talking about kind of what leads into Noah and him building the ark. So chapter 5, let me see here. It pretty much gives you a time from how many years goes by. All right, let me see. It's 912 years of Seth. Dang, I really wish I would have wrote it down yesterday, but let me see here. I didn't write it down. But all right, so we're gonna go into Genesis chapter 6. All right. Now it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughter of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. All right, so men are multiplying, and there's wives, and they are taking women as wives. And the Lord said, my spirit shall now strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So right here it says a man should be 120 years. A few interpretations of that is, hey, he's gonna pretty much get rid of mankind in 120 years. Or some people say, oh, well, nobody's gonna be able to live past 120 years old. Because remember, we have people living up to 900. We have 912 years. I believe Adam lived to be 930 years. All right, so men is living 900 years here. All right, and it says here, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of God came. All right, so there were giants. So it's giving us a description of what it was like. All right, so this is right after Adam and Eve. We're heading into Noah. They're giants, the daughter of men, and they bore children to them. They were the mighty men who were of old men of renown. All right, so one thing here is there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of God came in, sons came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. They were mighty men who were of old men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of thought of his heart was only evil continually. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. So the Lord is noticing, like, hey, man is pretty wicked, and it's only getting worse. Like pretty much right away, like the first 1,000 years. All right. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The hearts were evil. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beasts, creeping things and birds of the air, and I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Hey, only one person found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and that was Noah. Now here's key word, grace. All right. So how do we find grace in the Lord's eyes these days? Hey, accepting his son, Jesus Christ, what he did for us. All right. So the key is you want to find grace in the Lord. How do you find grace? You accept his son, Jesus Christ, and what he did. All right. It says, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, remember, Noah is going to give people the opportunity to find grace in the eyes of the Lord as well, because he's going to reach out to them like, hey, the flood, and it's about having faith. And they'll be like, well, it's never rained, so how can we have faith that it's going to rain and flood while you're building this ark? So they didn't have faith. But he's giving them an opportunity to find grace in the Lord's eyes. Now, as I'm saying today, how do we find grace in the Lord's eyes? We accept his son and what he did. He died on the cross for our sins. All right, that's how we find grace, having faith in that. So we're not having faith in Noah building an ark before it even starts raining or before we even see rain. No, it's having faith in his son, Jesus Christ. That is how we are saved today. Find grace in the Lord's eyes. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. All right. So that's something very, very important to remember. All right. The key to our whole life, uh, find grace in the eyes of the Lord. That's first and foremost. And remember, how do you do that? You accept the Son, His Son, Jesus Christ, and what He did for us. All right. Here we go. And then it goes, this is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was just a man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God. And Noah begot three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Noah had three sons. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on earth. So it was pretty corrupted, all right, first and foremost. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with pitch. So here's instructions on how to build the ark. Gopher wood, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside outside the pitch. There's a replica of Noah's Ark. I believe it's in Kansas or something. If you look it up, like somebody did a replica. Somebody did a replica of Noah's Ark. So if you want to get a better idea of that, hey, check it out. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it for a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. So the Lord is literally giving Noah instructions on how to make the ark. You're gonna make it like this. These are the dimensions. Use gopher wood. All right. And behold, I myself am bringing floodwaters on earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh and which is breeds of life. Everything that is on earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall go into the ark, your sons, your wife, and your son's wife with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring two of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. You shall be male and female. All right, so male and female of every living creature. Behold, myself will bring flood waters on earth. Key thing here is he will establish a covenant. He's like, hey, I'm about to establish a covenant. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark. You, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives. I'm going to make a covenant. That's what he's saying here. All right, that is huge. Covenant is huge. And every living, here we go. 20 of the birds after the kind, and the animals after the kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth, and after its kind, two of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourselves of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourselves. And it shall be food for you and for them. Thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him to do, he did. So God gave him a lot of instruction here, and Noah did as he was told. Hey, bring food, bring male and female of every species. Um, all right, so that's he does there. Here's the dimensions on how to build the ark. You're gonna use gopher wood. So many instructions, and Noah is obedient. Right? Hey, thank you for being on. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe. I really enjoy doing lives, and I'll be doing a lot more. So right now we're on Genesis chapter 6. All right. Remember we started on Genesis chapter 1, and we're just gonna move forward and as much as possible, and just keep going. So here we go. Then chapter 7. We are now on Genesis chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in the generations. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female. 2 each of the animals are unclean, a male and his female. Also 7 each of the birds of the air, male, female. Keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from face of the earth all living things that I have made. All right, here we go. And all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal. Let me see here. I'm trying to clarify something here real quick. So first, the Lord tells them, But I will establish my covenant with you, your sons, your wives, and your all right, and all of every living thing of all flesh. You shall bring two of every sort into the ark. Keep them alive with you. You shall be male and female. And then over here he says, then the Lord Noah came to the ark, because I have seen that you are righteous before the generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean. It's like pork, I guess. A male and his female. Also 7 of each of the birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive in the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days, I will cause it to rain. Okay, so we have one of every being, and then we have he adds on, you shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal and every 2 of unclean animals. Clean animals. I guess that's to eat, I guess. That's actually kind of hard to understand. Because unclean, you can't eat. Clean, you can. All right, anyways, I'm going to have to do more research on that one. Like, why did he. Also, 7 each of the. Or for after 7 more days, I will cause it to rain. Right? Verse 5. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. All right, so Noah is 600 years old right now. Noah, 600 years old. Let me see here. Noah, 600 years old, with his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of every that creeps on the earth, 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God has commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the water of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and the rain was on the earth 40 days, 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his son with them entered the ark. They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing and that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in, and God has commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Now the flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. So it's just flooding, all right? The 7 were for sacrifice. Thank you for putting it out there. Yeah, because I was like, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, I remember reading about the 2 of each kind, and then it says, well, now we're gonna put, you know, clean and unclean. So it says, you shall take with 7 each every clean animal male and his female, 2 of each animal, and unclean male and his female. So that's literally all it says. So yeah, that's literally all it says. So I just like you kind of got to work with that. And the waters prevail exceedingly, so it's flooding. The waters prevail 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. So the flood went above the mountains, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle, beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. All in those nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life. All that was on the dry land died. So he destroyed all living things that were on the face of the ground, both men and cattle, creeping things, and the birds of the air. They were destroyed. So everything gets destroyed. The water rises above the mountains. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive, and the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. So the water prevailed 150 days. All right. So it rained 40 days, 40 nights, and the water was up for 150 days. So literally wiped out. All right, wiped out the planet. All right. All right. And I'll leave it at that. Let me let's look up. So question arises in chapter 7 about the clean and unclean. Let me see here. So here we go. You shall take with you 7 of each of every clean. So let's go Genesis chapter 7 verse 2. Let me see here. Genesis verse 2. All right, let me see here. God instructs Noah to take 7 pairs of each kind, clean it, male and female, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, foreshadowing both the importance of preserving all species and potentially the future practice of animal sacrifice. Potential, the future practice of animal sacrifice. Hmm. So yeah, it's something about sacrifice. Clean and unclean animals is a concept for foreshadowing the laws later given to the Israelites in Leviticus. Take 7 pairs of clean animals rather than just two is a point of discussion and interpretation. Some suggest this was sacrificial purposes or to ensure a larger population of these animals after the flood. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, well, maybe he wants more of the population. Let me see. Go to Bible reference. Let's see here. To start. So yeah. So I'm just trying to get some more information on this. But yeah, it says it's a foreshadow of sacrifice later on. I'm seeing here 7. Does not mean 7 pairs or 7 of each. Though common is interpreted, but 7 of each kind. If however 7 pairs be the right interpretation, but a few species could have been included. There can be no reference here to. Let me see here. Here are necessary. No tribe, no. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to look up more information about Genesis chapter 7, verse 2, because first it tells us take 1 of each pair, and then um, it says you and your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 of each animal that are unclean, a male and his female. Also 7 each of birds of the air, male and female, and keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. So he, like as a reward, you're gonna take more animal, like these more animals right here. All right. So I would have to look that up. Um, the purpose of that. All right. There's a greater purpose to that. So I would have to look that up. So yep. The 7 word of sacrifice. So yeah, if anybody has a commentary on that, Genesis chapter 7 verse 2 to 4. All right. So yeah, if anybody else has a question or anything, hey, feel free to ask. All right. So I'm just trying to look. Let me see here. Why is it? Let me see. Noah's Ark. Why? Let me see. I'm trying to see what's out there. That way. Let's see. Noah took every kind of animal in the ark. Not exactly the most. 7 pairs of each kind of clean. No. Okay. Difference between clean and unclean. So Leviticus tells us about clean and unclean, which clean, unclean is pork. Long ago. Yeah, that's the key word is clean and unclean, which we know unclean they cannot eat and clean you can't eat. Also we have Peter when he has a dream in the book of Acts, slay and eat, and he's like no, like those are unclean animals, and which is pork. They're like, oh, can we eat pork these days? Like, yes, you can eat pork. They got cleansed in the book of Acts. So you do have to consider that, like, okay, so we have clean and unclean animals, meaning edible and non-edible to eat. So, but it is saying here, the difference between sacrifice to God were made. So it defines the difference between. So it's referring to Leviticus, clean and unclean. But we already know that though. But Noah lived before to go into the law. We are not told how Noah knew which animals were. Yep, Noah would have to know clean and unclean as well. Um, were made before the Mosaic sacrifice to God were made before the Mosaic law, which means God had somehow communicated to the man what animals were suitable for sacrifice and later for eating. All right, which we haven't even got to that yet. Land, animal, and creatures were clean and unclean. Here are a few clean. All right, unclean. Unclean animals do not chew or do not have split hooves, such as pigs, dogs, cats. Non-edible foods. While the Testament, while the New Testament teaches were no longer doesn't actually provide guidelines. Ultimately, God's distinction between clean and unclean animals were about one diet, all right, which is edible and non-edible to eat. All right, so yeah, I am not Christian, but this is interesting. Oh yeah, yeah. How's it going? Thank you for being on. Yeah, so all right, so it says clean and unclean. So you have to know your clean animals and your unclean animals. Which animals do are edible to eat, and which ones are not edible to eat. All right, and also it's like why did he like, hey, you've been righteous before me in this generation, and then he like as a reward you shall take with you seven each of every clean animal, a male and a female, two of each animal that are unclean, a male and his female, also each of the birds of the air. So that's what I'm trying to, and that's literally all it gives you. 600 years old, and then it leads on, or clean animals that are unclean, birds and of everything that creeps on the earth. All right. So that's pretty much what survived. All right. Two of each animal plus seven of the clean and what two of the unclean are unclean. And also it's like how did Noah know what animals were clean and unclean? Thank you very much. So that's pretty much what we're establishing here. Thank you very much for being on. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe. I like to do lives, and I just like sometimes, I read the word, but sometimes you're gonna run into something that, like, oh, maybe I didn't catch that the first time around, and this is what's going on right here. It's like, which I had to stop and really dive into it and see what else it says here. Let me see. Uh, so yeah, it refers to Leviticus 10:10. Um, Let me just take a quick look at that. But I mean, at that point, I'm pretty sure it's where they're telling them what's clean and not clean. So, you know, so Leviticus, I'm in the book of, we got Genesis, Exodus, uh, Leviticus, what is it? Leviticus 10. Let me see, 10:10. So I go to Leviticus 10, which we're building the tabernacle, all right? The sacrificial animals. We're building all that in the book of Leviticus. It's like, hey, how to do a holy sacrifice, how to do a sacrifice to the Lord. So here we're doing sacrifices, by the way. Old Testament, we're in the Old Testament doing sacrifices. In the New Testament, a sacrifice is done for us, and that sacrifice was Jesus Christ, right? The Lord told him. So we don't do sacrifices no more because the ultimate sacrifice has already been done for us, and that was Jesus Christ, right? Like a lamb to the slaughter. So that's something we gotta believe in order to be saved, all right? And that's how the Bible goes. So let's go to Leviticus. What it says, 10:10. All right, 10:10. That you may be distinguished between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. So holy and unholy, clean and unclean. So your clean animals and your unclean animals. And that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken to them by the hand of Moses. Let me see here. Do not drink wine or intoxicating drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. So this is just principles of, I mean, they're building a tabernacle. Like, the book of Leviticus, it's like, yeah, Lord told him. All right. Thank you very much for being on. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got from this verse. So, that's Genesis chapter 7, the flood. I remember the flood goes above the mountains. Literally, God cleans the slate, all right? For mankind was becoming evil, and it's like, man, I am sorry about this. and he just cleans the whole thing. He wipes it out. Flood. Noah builds the ark. He survives with the animals. All right, and I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I'm only on here with 25 minutes. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I'm gonna take a look at the next chapter. All right, the next chapter is gonna be chapter 9. So God bless Noah and his sons. Let me see how much we got here. I keep getting on here for a long period of time, so I'm gonna try to reduce it. All right, I'm gonna do. I guess we'll do chapter 9 real quick. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth, and on every bird of the air, and all that move on earth, and all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as green herbs, but you shall not eat flesh with its life. That is its blood. Surely for your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning from the hand of every beast, I will require it, and from the hand of a man, from the hand of every man's brother, I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man. And as for you, be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply in it. So hey, multiply. All right. Oh no, you're good. Yeah. Man, it sounds like you love the Bible just as much as I do. Like that's all we do is study. Once we become saved, and hey, we study and we just learn God's word with a good heart. It's like it's very fruitful. So hey, it's all good. I love commentary because it just helps me dive into it. And plus, sometimes, like I said, sometimes people they'll spend more time in Genesis than I have spent. Like, hey, I read Genesis, I kind of just run through it, and you know what? Somebody else has probably spent more time in the book of Genesis or in another book, and that's how we learn. It's like, man, I haven't spent as much time in certain books. I kind of just read through it and kind of just get the main points and like, okay, and I could talk about it. But sometimes there's small details that, what, I didn't take the time to really focus on small details. So it's all beneficial. Here we go. So God's given a command: be fruitful, multiply. All right. Whoever sheds man's blood, do not kill each other. Hey, we're trying to build, not eliminate. Then God spoke to Noah and his sons with him, saying, "And as for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you." So we're having a covenant made here. So we're about to have a covenant made. And with every living creature that is with you, the bird, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Thus I establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again there'll be flood to destroy the earth. So here's a covenant. I'm never going to do this ever again. That's what he's saying. Like, I'm never going to wipe off the planet again. This is the first and only time I'm going to do that. And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that with you for perpetual generations. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign and of the covenant between me and the earth." Hey, when it rains, we see a rainbow. That is a sign of the covenant. All right, for like, hey, God made it pretty much an everlasting covenant. Like, hey, I'm never gonna flood the earth again, and for that, I'm gonna give you a sign, and that is the rainbow. So that is the sign of the rainbow. The rainbow is a covenant. All right, so that's something to remember. Unfortunately, the rainbow has been, people have used it for other things. Unfortunately, they put it on flags, they put on this, and they give it a whole different meaning. The meaning of the rainbow is a covenant from God. Right? That is the meaning of the rainbow. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. This is between me and the earth, the rainbow. So, man, that is huge. That's something to remember. That's a good lesson to teach for children. Like, hey, what does a rainbow mean? Like, why do we have rainbows? Well, it's a covenant between God and man, between me, actually God and the earth. It shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. You shall see the rainbow in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. So another thing to bring up here is people that ask like, hey, how do we know God is real? God made a covenant with the earth, and there's a rainbow, and there's literally a description here. Like, why is there a rainbow? Oh, because scientifically, this and this and that. Literally says here, God put the rainbow there as a sign between him and the earth that I will never flood the earth again. Now, somebody comes up with an interpretation of, well, really, it's because of, you know, gas or this and that. And like, hey, the Lord told us, and it's in here written down way before science. Like, this was in the Bible way before science, before anything. The book of Genesis, where it also talks about mankind, the animals, how animals were made. God created the animals. So it's like, hey, God has his signs all over this earth. Like, he has his handprint all over the earth. The rainbow is one of them. All right. So that's why it's really, that's why it's just hard to, people that don't want to understand, they just don't want to understand, you know? But that is a sign. God is real. We got the rainbow. And God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on earth. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. So another thing to consider here is that everybody believes in God at this point, and everybody that didn't believe in God is pretty much wiped out. So like, hey, we're starting fresh. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. So we're gonna build the whole earth off the three sons and their wives. And Noah begat to be a farmer, and he planted vineyard. Then he drank of the wine and was drunk and became uncovered in his tent. All right, so Noah drank and became uncovered in his tent. So pretty much he drank and became naked. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backwards and covered the nakedness of the father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father nakedness. So it's not to see your father's nakedness. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew that his younger son had done to him. Then he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants. He shall be to his brethren. And he said, blessed be the Lord to God and Shem. So the son that saw the father naked was cursed. He just saw him naked and he didn't do nothing about it. And the other two brothers, they covered him up. And he said, blessed be the Lord, the son of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and he may dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So 950 years after the flood. Yeah, there's a lot of years in here. So that has to be at least, we have to at least be at 2,000 years at this point. All right, so, and of mankind, starting from Adam all the way to Noah's death. Born to them in the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magon, Madai. So it has, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Japheth has 7 kids. The sons of Gomer were 1, 2, 3. So we have a lot. So we're building genealogy. Remember, we are to multiply. That's all what's going on here. They're multiplying, all right, and become fruitful. So that is multiply and become fruitful, all right. The sons of Cush were Seba, Sabit, Rama. So man, it's just a whole bunch of names, I mean, if you really want to dive into it, let me see. Give me 1 second. Let's go to. Let me see here. I believe it's the book of Matthew that has the genealogy. We could do your brother, same for me. Yeah. Um, a good study is studying genealogy in the Bible. If you ever like, kind of like in the mood of it, like study the genealogy. Like man, it goes all the way to Jesus. Let me see here. So let's go to Book of Matthew. We have all right. So in the book, we're gonna do the genealogy of Jesus Christ, all the way to Adam. Jesus today. Hey, how's it going? Hey, thanks for being on. Thank you very much. I'm doing a little morning session here. All right, so we're gonna do. Let's just take a look at Matthew 1, where as soon as the New Testament starts, we go straight into genealogy. All right, straight into who was born after who, and all right, so it's a history. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna outline the important ones. So we have son of David, Abraham. So it starts from Abraham. We got Abraham, begot Isaac, begot Jacob, begot Judah, and his so that's Book of Genesis. Let me see. And Jesse begot David. So we have Jesse, which is the Book of Ruth. Actually, here we go. Solomon begot. So verse 5, the Book of Matthew. We have Boaz. All right, Boaz. That's the Book of Ruth. Begat Obed by Ruth. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David, the king. David begat Solomon, all right, and been the wife of Uriah. So remember, Solomon was the who had been by her who had been the wife of Uriah. Remember, Uriah gets killed. All right, David has an affair, and they have Solomon, and Solomon ends up taking the throne. How's it going? I'm doing really well today. Thank you very much for being on. Solomon begot, and then it goes into Solomon's children, Hezekiah, Josiah, brothers about the time they were carried away from, and then they get carried to Babylon, and after that they brought Coniah. So this is a bunch of names. And Jacob begot Joseph, and then we go to Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. All right. So the book of Matthew, the genealogy, it starts from Abraham. Let me see here. Man, where's another genealogy? So if you want to learn genealogy, book of Matthew, you'll see the names on there. And that way also when you go through the Bible, it's like, oh, this is the line of Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ's genealogy goes far back into Genesis. And it literally gives you a list of each name before Jesus Christ, each male before Jesus Christ. So a lot of time when you read the New Testament, that's the first thing that it talks about, and I don't like it could get a little boring because the names are like really long. Let me see here, Book of Mark. Let's go to the book of who I forgot who else has the genealogy. Was it Luke? Let me see if it's Luke. I actually don't remember from. Let me see. We were joined. No. I guess the book of John has to be the book of John. I'm trying to look for who else has the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Let's see, crap, word becoming. Oh man, let me see. Give me 1 second. It was the Matthew. How's everybody doing, by the way? Thank you for being on. It's hard to, yeah, it's hard to go through. It could get pretty boring. Like, when you read, it's like man, begot so and so, and it's like, but if you really want to do a research, it's like, hey, you'll find the names. You're like, okay, David. All right, I see Jesse. He's in the Bible. Is it Luke? Let me see. Yeah. Uh, Luke 3:23. So it's not in the beginning, like Matthew. Matthew is literally like you turn to Matthew, the first book in the Old Testament. I mean the New Testament, and right away it's like here's the genealogy, and that way if you want to like hey, how did Jesus become? It's like hey, you just read it in reverse, and it goes, who was Jesus' dad? It was uh man, I'm like kind of having a Jesus. Let me see here. I gotta think a little slower. I'm like running too fast. Here we go. 3:23. All right, here we go. 3:23. Ministry was all right. So Joseph, all right, the son of Joseph. So here we got Jesus, the son of Joseph, and then it goes all the way down. The son of Mattai, Levi, the son of. So we have Jesus and Joseph. All right, Joseph begot Jesus. Well, Jesus was born from a virgin, but his father was Joseph. All right. I did a study on that on step parenting. Like he was technically a step parent. So the son of Jonah. So we're gonna go all the way down. The son of Jos, the son of Elizar, Joram, the son of Levi, the son of Simeon, the son of Judah, the son of Joseph, the son of Jonah, son of Menan, the son of Jesse. Okay, so we go from verse 23. This is Luke chapter 3, verse 23 is Jesus himself began the ministry at about 30 years of age. The son of Joseph. All right, so that's the son of Joseph. That's verse 23 of chapter 3. Now, verse 32, the son of Jesse, the son of Obed, the son of David, the son of Jesse, the son of Obed. That's the book of Ruth and Samuel. The son of Boaz, the son of Solomon, the son of. All right, so we get those right there. And then we go all the way to the son of Canaan, the son of Shem, the son of Noah. So we got verse 36, the son of Canaan. All right, one of Noah's son. Uh, the son of. All right, let me see. The son of Jacob, son of. All right, we got the son of. All right, verse 34, the son of Jacob. So we got Jacob, son of Isaac, and then we got Abraham. All right, so we know them. Book of Genesis, and then we have the son of Sarug, the son of a bunch of names, and then we have the son of Canaan, the son of, and then got the son of Shem. So we know Shem, one of the sons of uh, of Noah, the son of Noah, the son of Lamech. Lamech was the father of Noah, and then the son of Methuselah, the son of Enoch. So we have Enoch here as well. Jared, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth. So we have Seth. Remember, Seth was Adam and Eve's third born. All right. So we have Adam and Eve, and then we have Cain and Abel, and Cain kills Abel, and then later on they have Seth. All right. So we have the son of Enosh, which is the son of Seth, the son of Adam, and the son of God. So it goes all the way from the son of God, Adam, all the way to Jesus Christ. So if you ever want to do a check on that, that'll be Luke chapter 3, starting with verse 23. Luke 3, chapter 23. Luke chapter 3, verse 23, all the way down till you get to chapter 4. So that is the genealogy from God all the way to Jesus Christ. All right. And you could read it backwards. Well, let me see. No, actually, this one goes from Jesus Christ all the way to God. And then the book of Matthew is the other way around. All right. So we got the book of Matthew. The book of Matthew. So yeah, if you really, that's a really good study. The genealogy, but it's a lot of names. It's a lot of names, and I'm sure you could find a history on a lot of those names if you really take the time. Son of David, the son of Abraham. So in the book of Matthew, we start with Abraham. In the book of Genesis, Abraham, and we work our way up all the way to Jesus Christ, all the way to Joseph and Jesus Christ. All right. Now in the book of Luke, chapter 3, we start with Jesus Christ, and we go all the way to Adam. All right. So that's the genealogy. So that is huge. That's a really good study. Like it's all recorded in the Bible, and this was written years and generations before us. All right, that's why it's really hard. Like, oh well, science this and science hasn't figured this out. We literally have a genealogy in the Bible. Like, hey, how much more proof? We have a rainbow, which is a sign from God to the earth. Hey, this is my covenant. I'm gonna put a rainbow. Matthew is Jesus, Joseph's lineage, and Luke describes the kingdom through Mary. Matthew is Jesus through Joseph's lineage. Matthew is Jesus through Joseph's lineage, and Luke describes the kingdom through Mary. Luke, let me see here. Through Joseph's lineage. All right. voice of one crying. So we go from let me see, Luke. All right, so we have Luke here. Luke is actually very interesting because Luke will start off with John the Baptist, all right, which is Jesus' cousin. I remember Elizabeth was pregnant. She was pregnant first. The angel came to Elizabeth first and like, hey, you're gonna have John the Baptist. And then was 6 months later, the angel goes to Mary, like, hey, you're gonna have a son. You know, it's gonna be Jesus Christ. All right, so they're cousins. So if you really want to, this is actually something you read like during Christmas, like, you know, the Christmas story people call it, but it's hey, the story of Elizabeth giving giving birth to John the Baptist, who makes way for Jesus Christ. Like, hey, he is, and he's prophesied the one crying out in the wilderness, the one speaking the book of Isaiah. Hey, there's going to be one crying out in the wilderness. He's like, what? One crying out in the wilderness, and he is mistaken for Jesus Christ. Like, hey, are you the Messiah? Are you the Christ? Like, no, I'm John the Baptist, the one before the Christ. They're like the one that prepares the way. So the book of Luke is a really good book. Like before we even get to Jesus Christ's birth, like we are like, hey, it sets it up. Right? Luke sets up the whole story of Jesus Christ from the very beginning. Right? Starting from, you know, his cousin, John the Baptist. Starting from like it doesn't just start off with John the Baptist was baptizing in the Jordan River. It starts off with, hey, an angel came to Elizabeth that she would bore a son, all right, and the father is Zechariah. It starts at that story, to Jesus being born, and then eventually to Jesus being baptized by his cousin. So Jesus through Joseph's lineage, and Luke describes kingdom through Mary. Yeah, through Mary. It starts. There's a lot of good depth. The book of Luke has a lot of depth before Christ was born. Like it has a lot of good depth. All right. The book of Matthew kind of just goes right into it. Let's see. Book of Matthew, Jesus gets baptized, and then we go from there. So that's why it's important to read all the Gospels. To be honest, for the longest time, I would only read Matthew and John. I really didn't read Luke much, right? I really didn't read Luke and Mark much, but I would always go to Matthew and John. Like, all right, but you know, I had to do did a study on, you know, Jesus being born, and you would go to Luke for that. You know, the cousin of, you go to Jesus and John the Baptist, all right, to get more depth in that. Matthew, Jacob, Christ born of Mary. Now the birth of Jesus Christ follows after his mother Mary, before they came together, husband being just man. So it goes into Mary. The book of Matthew goes into Mary, like the situation with Mary. You know, she's pregnant, and Joseph doesn't want to put her to shame. Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take your Mary's wife. But we don't talk about John the Baptist being born or anything. It just goes into Mary. The book of Luke, we talk more about John the Baptist being born before this. All right. And then Joseph, being aroused from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and took him his wife, and did not know her till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus. All right. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So, man, there's so much good reading in here. Like the Gospels, like there is so much. Like you can really never get tired of it. Like it is, man. There's just so much in here, and then especially like reading them back to back. Like I mean, reading them like the way we are doing now. We're flipping back and forth. Like man, one day I'm gonna read it like that. One day I'm just gonna. That's one of my goals is to be able to read. Like all right, chronological order. We're gonna start before Jesus. We're gonna start with John the Baptist, and then when Jesus is born, it says here this, and then it says here in the book of Matthew this King Herod. You know, he's looking for, you know, the Christ. He's looking for, you know, the prophesied, he who was born King of the Jews. Right? They're saying like, hey, the King of the Jews is born. Like, oh man, King Herod is like, I'm a king. Like, I need. He's a threat. All right, he needs to get rid of the King of the Jews, which is an antichrist spirit. I'm like, hey, you know, these prophecies are not to be fulfilled. And after all this struggle, like the prophecies were all fulfilled. right? But we read how people try to stop the prophecies, but there is no stopping God's prophecies. There's no stopping it. Hey, God sent his beloved Son, and hey, the prophecies were fulfilled all the way through Jesus, adult, until he got crucified. All right, so Jesus died for our sins. He resurrected after 3 days. All right, he died for our sins. He cleansed us. All right, remember he was the ultimate sacrifice. All right, so that being said, studies. Thank God bless your ministry. Amen, brother. God's word is so good. Thank you for the more. All right, thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna get ready to log off. I'm gonna get my day started with my wife. All right, thank you very much for being on. If you have any questions, hey, feel free to. All right, thank you very much, guys. I'll be doing more.